Hey, welcome back to Score on Business, and we're still with Julie. And Julie, share another example with us about proper communication with a client.
Sure. So a great example just happened recently, just this week, was working with Dismas House, which is over on Music Row, and they are a transition home for men coming out of Tennessee prisons and jails, and they work with them to get a job, find housing, transition back into society. And it's a really wonderful program. It's been around over 40 years, and they have a great story to tell.
I'm familiar with it and think highly of them.
Yes, wonderful organization, great leadership with Gerald Brown as the CEO. And they are now building a new campus on Charlotte Avenue. And so you can imagine, you know, the communications that need to happen to help promote that program and to help raise the funds for that, which we just had our annual fundraising event, the Forgiveness Luncheon, 650 people, sold out crowd, and which was wonderful. And I've just found out actually they raised over $220,000 at that event. So I came in to help promote the event, and our keynote speaker, which we worked through a speakers bureau to get Ryan Leaf, who was the #2 NFL pick with Peyton Manning, and his story is one of redemption and recovery, and his career did not go as planned at all. And he really, after going to prison, having addiction to opioids, has turned his life around to where he really is about mental and behavioral health in the community. So he has been on a circuit for speaking and advocating for mental and behavioral health, and was a perfect speaker for us. So I helped in terms of getting some media coverage with the Tennessean, with the sports columnist there, and setting up an interview, and also WSMV that came out, and some other stations that we had opportunities with. But it was really important for him to be able to tell his story. It's just a really important one that people need to hear, and he was very humble and great to work with, in that he felt that, the men at Dismas House are just like me. I'm just like them. I've been exactly where they are. So,
and what's so powerful about that? I was not at that event, but usually at those fundraising events, toward the end, cards are passed around to make a commitment, and having the right person deliver the right message is very powerful for getting the contributions.
That's right. And the program itself, I mean, it was really structured in a way where there were a lot of testimonials from some current residents and past residents, and how they have succeeded through the program, because the recidivism rate is at least 50% nationwide, and with Dismas and going through that program, they've been able to reduce that and keep men out of prison. So I'm all over that. So what are some tips for entrepreneurs who want to gain visibility for their company? There are a lot of things that entrepreneurs can do on their own before they consult or contract with a PR agency or marketing firm, which is wonderful, because they can help them build their own platform that I spoke about earlier, where really becoming an expert within their industry. And they need to think about how they can create value and bring that to media, to people who are writing about their industry, what are some trends, providing expert commentary. And they can also do that in other ways, in terms of submitting contributed articles or bylines, or being a guest on a podcast or on a show, and being able to share that expertise and becoming a resource for media. That's one of the things that they can immediately do, because it's everything that they pretty much already know. And they need to stick to their strengths and focus on that, on what perspective they can bring.
I like where you mentioned a theme through what you've shared today is, in so many words, develop a plan and stick to it. And I'm sure, as you see so often, entrepreneurs are always coming up with new ideas, and it's very easy for us to not lay out the plan and follow it.
That is so true, and I face this, in my business if I'm working with clients, particularly smaller businesses, where I'm working with the CEO usually, and those businesses, and a lot of times they could get distracted by, you always say the shiny object, but it is really important to stick to the plan because you're building momentum.
Right.
So if you're helping to increase visibility for your company, you need to be out there with the same messages over and over and over again. You may feel like a broken record, but it just really takes a long time for people to start internalizing those messages and equating that with you or your company and your story.
Yes.
And I can't emphasize it enough that you really do have to stick to the groundwork and the framework that you put forth.
Yes. Yeah, because it's easy to cause confusion.
That's very true. Another part of it is making sure that your team, your executive leadership team and your employees are all on the same page. Because there's opportunities where they may have to speak to groups or even just internally, just making sure everyone is all on board with your mission, vision, values as a company, and that they're embracing that every day. So it's both an internal and an external effort.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so why don't we take a break?
Sure.
And then we'll be back. Ladies and gents, we'll be right back.